In today's world, sustainability has become a critical issue as we face growing environmental challenges. Climate change, deforestation, and pollution are just a few examples of the pressing issues that we must address. We cannot afford to wait and make plans for the future. Instead, we must take action now to ensure a more sustainable future for ourselves and future. Now imagine you're pulling up to a fueling station ready to pump your usual diesel. But now you have the option to choose a diesel that not only maintains a low price and high efficiency, but is also more environmentally friendly than your typical choice. Would you be willing to switch to this eco-friendly diesel? In other words, are you willing to take action to tackle climate change now? Hi, I'm Ricarda. Welcome to our project where we aim to develop a promotion campaign for EcoDiesel in the scope of the Innovation and Value Creation Wheel course at Nova. EcoDiesel is a sustainable and efficient alternative to traditional diesel fuel. The EcoDiesel we are talking about is from Prio. Join us now as we develop a promotion campaign to encourage individuals to make a more sustainable choice when fueling their vehicles. Together, let us drive towards a greener future with Prio's EcoDiesel. During the past 3 months, we used the value creation wheel method in order to create value for Prio. This framework helped us not only to have a great structure for our project, but also to find the best possible solution for Prio. Let me now give you a quick overview about our project. Due to a change in Portuguese regulations, Prio is now able to sell the EcoDiesel throughout the country. As a result, Prio aims to introduce EcoDiesel at all of the gas stations in Portugal by the end of this year. However, EcoDiesel is not yet widely established and many B2C customers are not familiar with the sustainable fuel. And this is where our creative promotion campaign comes in. After conducting extensive research and collaborating closely with our key decision makers, the KDMs, we have used the value creation wheel method to design a plan to promote EcoDiesel B15 among the B2C market. Our objective is to increase awareness and drive sales, positioning EcoDiesel B15 as a top choice for everyone who values sustainability, affordability and efficiency. To achieve our goals, we have to find the 3 M's along with the KDMs, which are manpower, minutes and money. For manpower, we have created a team consisting of our own team members and 10 individuals from Prio, each with different roles. This team will work together to successfully promote EcoDiesel. In terms of minutes, we have established a 15-month timeline for Prio's campaign, which will begin in May 2023. As for money, our KDMs have defined a budget of 1 million euros that will be invested into our campaigns. In the past months, I worked together with Franziska, Karl, Sebastian and Gloria on this project. You will get to know them later in this presentation. Let us now dive right into the first phase of the value creation wheel, which is the define phase. This phase consists of the diagnostic, the definition of the challenge, and the definition of the expected KPIs. At first, we want to start with the diagnostic, which will give us a good overview about the current status quo.
Okay, so my name is Carl and I'm going to go through the next couple of slides with you guys. Starting off with the diagnostic, Prio is currently the largest producer of biofuels in Portugal and also one of the largest producers of biodiesel from residual raw materials in Europe. Prio operates solely in Portugal and has a network with more than 250 stations within Portugal, and all of their production is also made within the borders. They offer gas, liquid fuels, as well as offering charging stops for electric vehicles. Prio has a prominent position in Portugal and a lot of experience in all the products that they offer. They have also acquired the triple QS certification for the operation and more specifically for the biodiesel plant and tank farm. This certificate emphasizes that Prio focus on quality, safety and the environmental aspects on their operations. To define the DNA of Prio, we will look at their mission, vision, and values of the firm. Prio's mission is to produce and provide a broad variety of fuels to move people, vehicles, goods, and ideas. They want to provide an innovative, accessible, and safe fuels to create value for the customer segments. Their vision is to create a more efficient world with the intelligent energies that promote more sustainable mobility in the future. Among their values, they want to highlight courage and responsibility. Courage to have an ambition to be a leader within this market, and the responsibility to strive for a better future. Let's talk about the main product of this project, the B15 EcoDiesel. B15 is made up by 15% of advanced biofuels, which is produced from residual and waste feedstocks. The product itself is able to help with the greenhouse gas reduction, which will result in a cleaner combustion. One of the aspects that is not mentioned as often is that B15 actually can improve the efficiency of the car by decrease the fuel consumption with up to 5%. Right now, the B15 can currently be purchased in 16 different gas stations, where Prio monitor the performance of the product. What can be stated already is that the nearly 3.5 million liters that has been sold has resulted in that the B15 has made it possible to avoid 1,400 tons of CO2. Going over how Prio marketing themselves and creates value in the current position for the customers, we started by finding out that they already operate on various different social media platforms. For their business-to-business sector, we saw that Prio mainly promotes their fleet card with the value proposition for the companies to reducing their fuel cost by benefiting on using this card for all the total fuel for the fleet. Toward the business-to-customer segment, Prio is trying to promote their app, which is called Prio Go. In the app, customers can track their fuel consumption, pay directly in the app, and in total make the customer journey more efficient. The last element that caught our attention was the partnership with Campeonato de Portugal that Prio has. The 4th Division Football League is an excellent marketing window for Prio, where they can leverage on the publicity around the league and teams. The next step for us was to have a look on the competitors for Prio. We found out that there are several competitors to Prio, with the biggest three being Gulp, Repsol, and BP. We chose to focus on different key aspects when doing this analysis. First of all, we recognize that Prio is the only company that offers a sustainable EcoDiesel with such a high percent being biofuel. Second of all, we had a look on the different marketing strategies the different companies are using right now. The three marketing channels that stood out to us were the partnerships, loyalty programs, and the positioning advertisement. These were all combined with the social media marketing, where all of the competitors are currently using a various amount of different social media platforms. To really understand the competitive market, we choose to do a Port the Five Forces model on Prio. We believe that the competitive rivalry is the hardest challenge for Prio, due to that the new regulations from the government will probably push many competitors into the EcoDiesel market as well. Since the entry cost of starting a business in this market, we also believe that the threat of new entrants will probably be the least challenge in the near future. In total, we can state that Prio has a unique value proposition with the B15 compared to its competitors, but due to various factors such as low switching costs, high price sensitives, and probably a rising competition within the EcoDiesel segment, Prio should expect a high competition in the market for the future. For analyzing the external environment, we choose to do a pestle analysis. We explore that there are many different forces that will play a big role in the future for Prio. Biofuels are becoming increasingly more important due to new sustainability criteria and governmental regulations. However, this may lead to higher production costs and struggle with resource supply. Societal concerns for the environment and the availability of eco-friendly fuel are driving demand right now. Climate change and reduction of GHG emissions are also significant factors in this. Legal requirements for emission standards exist, but there are currently no incentives for using eco-fuels right now. We then started doing a SWOT analysis to combine the internal and external environment. First of all, we find out that one of Prio's biggest strengths is their well-known brand recognition all over and within the borders of Portugal. And of course, that they are currently the only one offering EcoDiesel. Among the weaknesses and threats, we saw that it is a product and a market that is really sensitive to price changes. There is also high competition among the other brands, and a threat for Prio that we believe surely is going to happen is that someone else of the competitors will soon might be introducing a similar product to the B15. But since Prio are in the front seats right now of EcoDiesel, we also saw an opportunity to keep having a steady increased growth in renewable energy and keep on being a leader in this segment. Okay, so the next step was to develop from the SWOT analysis into a TOWS analysis to make the information more useful in a bigger context. Prio could use their well-established brand recognition to expand towards a more international market. Right now they have 2 stations in Spain, and this could be a potential market to expand more in order to take a bigger market share in Europe. Using their focus and knowledge on sustainable fuels could also be a potential tool to compete with the bigger players in the national market like Gulp. And keeping on being a pioneer of sustainable fuels may let them become bigger and also find a unique value proposition that people would be able to associate them with. A strategy to overcome the price sensitivity could be to offer monthly and yearly abonnements to their customer to lock the money into Prio in advance. Okay, we are now going to go on with phase 1B and present a challenge for you. With all this information that was collected, we decided on the challenge and stated it such as following. How to promote Prio's EcoDiesel B15 in the business to customer segment. The short-term goal is to develop an attractive promotion campaign for Prio, either online, offline or both. This will lead to our medium-term goals, which is to ensure that the campaign works, that it creates value and gets the customer interested in the B15. And by following the frameworks of the value creation wheel, we then believe that these steps will result in a successful outcome and make Prio in the long term be the national leader in the biodiesel segment. We will now present the last part of phase 1, the expected KPIs. We then choose to establish ambitious key performance indicators, or KPIs, which was divided into 2 different segments. Internal, which was more focused on the team's performance, and the external, which focused on the project's results. This was a key for a good work project together. The KPIs worked as a frame for us as a group to make sure that we all strive towards the same direction and so that we had the same goal with this project. In the last part of phase 1, we decided on which stakeholders to involve in this project. First of all, from Nova, we had the 5 team members from our group, and our very supportive teachers, Professor Luis Felipe Lages and Mr. Carlos Raiz Marquez from the Value Creation Wheel Lab. And from Prio's side, we have the 2 key decision makers that started with us from the early beginning of the project, and later on an extra 10 employees from the marketing team that helped us in the end with new results or decisions. Beyond these internal stakeholders, we also decided on involving over 200 people from the external stakeholders, the customers. They helped implement and answer on a survey that gave us the data to help us get more insights about the product, market, and also the views from the public.
Now we go through the phase 2 of the value creation framework, generating ideas and criteria in order to find the most valuable ones. Given this, we will start with the ideas. After completing phase 1, let's move on to phase 2 of the value creation framework. This phase is defined as the creation of value, which is meant to create value by diverging ideas and criteria. Having said what is our challenge and depending our knowledge about the product, the client, and the market, we proceeded to phase 2A, where the goal was to generate ideas and to gather information to assist our decision making. In order to find a solution for our challenge, we decided to first conduct a survey that is aimed to better define our target customer. So in this case, the source we used for primary research was an online survey. He had around 230 respondents where we were able to answer some of our main questions and doubts, and especially also some issues that had been raised by our KDMs. The main questions were about if they know about EcoDiesel, what moves customers between efficiency and sustainability, and what the drivers of customers' decisions are about where to fuel their cars. So the survey was conducted online, and we can say that it generated value for us because the respondents were aged from 18 to 70 years old, and most of them were Portuguese. So as we said, we conducted a survey for the primary research. And the main finding for us in the survey was that 88% of the respondents did not know what EcoDiesel B15 was, which helped us to highlight the main issues behind our challenge. And then 29% of respondents perceived Prio as offering more sustainable fuels. Also, we understood that the majority of respondents were more driven by efficiency purposes than sustainability ones, which in this case doesn't mean that these last ones are not important, but this finding helped us to understand what could be the main benefit of diesel to promote in our campaigns. Lastly, another important point was the order of preference for our respondents when choosing a fuel was the price first, then convenience, and lastly efficiency. So later on, for the secondary research, we wanted to have more insight from experts. So we talked to KDMs, having constant meetings during the semester, asking them about their ideas. And moreover, we did also in-depth desk research, especially internet research. Without taking into account any filters, through a team brainstorming session, we led to a wide range of creative ideas for promotion campaigns. All types of promotion campaigns, in this case, were considered, thinking not only out of the box, but with no box at all, identifying 59 different ideas. So, in order to find a solution, we considered all the 59 ideas as a potential campaign. And now, let's move on to the criteria. We now move to phase 2B, where we create different filters and criteria. This step consists basically on clustering all the potential filters into final category buckets. And because we wanted diverse filters, we made sure to use methods from both primary and secondary data research. So we had discussion in class and we conducted brainstorming group sessions. Next, all the filters were identified and developed, and we break them down and classified into 6 groups. In this case, these 6 groups were resources needed, impact, time factors, financial, customer targeting, and finally, competition. For the phase 2C, we had group discussion in class about all the ideas and filters we generated, and especially we did brainwriting.
Okay, so now when we are done with phase 2, we will go to phase 3, assess. Here we will start in the first phase, 3A, which is select ideas.
After our team engaged in a rigorous brainstorming process to generate ideas and criteria for promoting EcoDiesel B15 to the B2C market, we now move to phase 3A. So moving to phase 3, this phase is basically described as the validation of value. So in this case, we first started by analyzing in more detail each one of the generated ideas. Then we applied the poker method for validation. So we purified the ideas in must-have, nice-to-have, and killed ideas. So classify them in a group of kill, multiplying, review, and keep.
On to the second part, phase 3B, which is select criterias.
For phase 3B, as for the ideas, we did the same for the filters. So we deeply analyzed all the filters we had, and applying the poker method, we validated the most relevant for our challenge. So this process was the same as the previous one. We purified the filters, classifying them in kill, multiply, review, and keep. Then, together with the KDMs, we decide on the classification of the filters and ideas.
And in the last part of phase 3, we will now rank and weight the criterias.
Moving to phase 3C, in collaboration with the KDMs, we ranked the criteria, resulting in 6 must-have filters and 1 nice-to-have filter for our campaign. The first 6 are the must-have, and the 7th is the nice-to-have filter. For the must-have filter, we took into account the benefit, that is, how many additional liters of EcoDiesel should be sold due to the campaign, the cost of the campaign, the time to implement the campaign, and in this case, Prio's goal is to have an operational campaign before September. Then we took also in account the visibility filter, the brand awareness in customer mind, and the time frame of the campaign. The last one is the nice-to-have filter, that is about the involvement of the social media during the campaign. In the next step of the value creation framework, we will apply these 7 filters to all the potential ideas we considered in order to reach a final package to implement our solution.
In this fourth phase, we will now take the multiple ideas and criteria that arise from phase 3 and narrow it down to the ones which will dictate our approach to this challenge through the value creation funnel. Then, we'll define the concept and value proposition and end up with some possible examples of prototypes. Given this, we will now start with the value creation funnel. So, this was the method used to narrow down the 59 ideas we had initially, and it was done by using 7 filters, which were the benefit, the cost, the time to implement, the visibility, the brand awareness, time frame, and finally, the social media presence. After running all of ideas through this funnel, we were left with 4 results. Firstly, the co-marketing partnerships, which were partnerships that may give out discounts or different benefits to customers while partnering with another firm that may be or not related already with Prio. Then loyalty programs, so having discounts based on numbers of liters bought to incentivize the purchase in volume. Then afterwards, the paid search advertising, which consists in paying search engines to place the Prio's ads higher on relevant search engine results pages. And finally, social media campaigns, so taking advantage of the existing social media networks that Prio has and involve creative methods of using them in behalf of this campaign, such as having different posts or using influencers, for example. Since the value creation funnel did not lead only to one result, we decided to form packages combining all the 4 results in a way that made sense to us instead of choosing only one. Thus, we created these 4 packages. The first package will be focused on co-marketing partnerships, which could be promoted both through social media and via partner retailers and Prio's own gas stations. Then package 2 would focus on a loyalty program and be promoted through social media and via gas stations as well. Then package 3 could be focused on general mobile campaigns, so digital, promoted via social media and through paid search advertising. And then we also thought about the option of having a fourth package, combining all these three packages in one and then organizing them through different phases in time. For us, it was truly important to have concrete insights of our KDM's preferences here, so we brought this question up to a debate in one of our meetings. In this meeting, we met even with more stakeholders than usual, hearing also the opinions of the digital and marketing teams on this matter, which brought different and realistic perspectives on what could be used for our campaign. The final conclusion would be that, for now, a loyalty program would not make much sense for Prio, as they already have a very low price strategy, and thus they could not afford at the moment to decrease the prices even more. And thus, package 2 was out of the table, and then would be also package 4. And then was, in the end, a general agreement that a combination of packages 1 and 3 could be an interesting approach for the future. Having gone through the value creation funnel and having decided the ideas that will be implemented into our campaign, we will move on now to the concept and value proposition phase. Firstly, we started out by defining some personas that could represent segments we believe to exist within the market that Prio operates in, such as to better visualize who we'll be speaking to while developing this campaign. Firstly, we have the green conscious urbanite, so an individual who is young, educated, and who lives in a city. He or she is passionate about topics that are regarding sustainability and is willing to pay more in order to fulfill this bigger purpose. Thus, this persona really values companies that share these values and that promote publicly an eco-friendly lifestyle. The second persona is different, is a budget-conscious commuter, which is a middle-aged person who has to commute every day to go to work, thus who spends a lot of time driving. This persona is price-sensitive, so he or she truly cares about choosing the cheapest fuel. Thus, in order to speak to this persona, we may say that EcoDiesel B15 has the benefit of efficiency and a consequent cost saving. Thirdly, we have a persona which we call the rural family parent, and this person represents a parent from a family with kids who live in a rural area, and thus who not only has to commute daily, but who also uses the car a lot to go from one place to another. Then this persona prioritizes reliability and safety and is willing to pay more for a fuel who provides these advantages. Thus, for this persona, EcoDiesel B15 may be interesting from the perspective of the fuel efficiency. Finally, we have the tech-savvy early adopter, which is a tech enthusiast who enjoys experimenting new and innovative products. For this persona, the EcoDiesel brings the advantage of providing the chance of being an early adopter of this innovative technology. He or she values brands on the edge of innovation and is really willing to pay for that. The segment we chose to target in our campaign was the second one, so the persona who is a middle-aged commuter from the working class who has to travel to go to work and who is price sensitive. This persona was chosen because it complies with the desirable properties of targets. Firstly, this segment has the potential in terms of being sizable and growing. We based ourselves on the performed survey to take this conclusion, since there was a relevant number of people who fit in this segment. Secondly, there is a fit between Prio's product and the firm competences and this segment. This segment needs Prio's EcoDiesel B15 since it fulfills the benefits he or she is searching for. Also, from the survey, we agreed on focusing on people who are more concerned with efficiency in a fuel rather than with its sustainability, and thus which fits this profile. Finally, this segment has defensibility, so Prio has a low price strategy comparing with competition, which this persona is searching for, and Prio is one of the top players in the market following the survey results. Thus, we believe that this target can be the right one for our campaign. Moving on to the positioning, we here intend to speak directly to the target segment, showing them why Prio's EcoDiesel B15 is the right answer for their needs. Thus, this was a defined positioning statement. For those who value efficiency when fueling their car, EcoDiesel B15 from Prio is a low-cost fuel that will allow you to make a sustainable choice while being efficient due to a decrease up to 5% in fuel consumption and less 18% of greenhouse gases. We decided to focus on efficiency benefits, but adding up also the sustainability part more as a nice-to-have property for this segment. Thus, we can combine the fuel efficiency, the affordability factor of this product, and do not ignore at all the sustainability part. In order to have a more catchy slogan, we thought about this one: EcoDiesel B15, with Prio, less is more. Less spending, less consumption, and less harm on the planet. Having the concept and value proposition defined, we want now to present to you the general idea we have for the campaign and also to show some developed prototypes in order for you to better visualize our proposal. We defined the timeline composed by 4 phases in order to address what, for us, was the main issue behind our challenge, so the fact that many people don't know at all about EcoDiesel B15. For this, the social media networks that Prio already has will be the channel for promotion. The first phase goes from May 2023 until August and is characterized by posting on social media in a way to trigger the customer about the existence of EcoDiesel B15 and to inform them about this product's properties. Secondly, from September until October, we thought about a campaign in partnership with Delta, who is already a partner of Prio, which makes this partnership easier to implement. Here the goal is still to inform the customers about EcoDiesel B15 and also to start making them curious about trying it out. Then the third phase goes from November until May 2024. And here we want to make the customers feel tempted to use the product. Thus, the social media campaign should be directed to the question not of do you know what EcoDiesel B15 is, but rather why you should use it. And here we plan also to add a paid search advertising in order to help boosting sales. Finally, the last phase, which will come from June to July, should be a partnership with an automotive company, which is still to be defined, complemented with social media posts to support the campaign. The first prototype we developed was one for the first phase. Here, the goal is to trigger the customers and to make them curious to know more about EcoDiesel B15. Thus, we tried out a reverse psychology approach by starting off with telling the customer, well, probably EcoDiesel B15 is not for you. Afterwards, we add the benefit that they are looking for by saying something like, unless you wish to fuel your car in a more eco-friendly way, or unless you are one of those who value efficiency and cost saving when choosing a diesel. These type of posts then can be updated, and on a third phase, maybe the goal is not to have this type of sentences, but Prio can also add, for example, influencers speaking about why they opt for this fuel, and also engage the customers in a different way, more to convince them to buy the product. However, for this first prototype, the goal is for it to be used right on the very first phase in order to really trigger the customer. This second prototype was developed for the second phase, so the partnership with Delta, where the goal is to have more customers feeling compelled to use EcoDiesel B15. On this example of a co-marketing partnership, we propose that per 10 liters of EcoDiesel, each customer gains Prio points that can later be used in Prio stores to buy something such as a coffee and a pastry. Even though someone may want to choose the cheapest deal, which may not be ultimately the EcoDiesel B15, even not very far away, the point is that people think again and reevaluate, maybe thinking to themselves, well, the difference between the cheapest one and EcoDiesel is not that much, and this way I might as well go for EcoDiesel since I can have a coffee and a snack with it. This is an example both of a post for social media to promote a campaign and also for a poster to be presented on the gas stations. For the second co-marketing partnership, we believe that this type of promotion can work as well.
Now we're going to move to phase 5. The 3 M's and the business model will be presented. We're going to test the KPIs and the evaluation of our project and focus on the implementation and the control. First of all, the 3 M's and the business model will be presented on the next slides. For the success of our project, it was of great importance to identify the 3 M's. That means the manpower, which are the skills and the people required for the project, the money, which refers to the budget, which will be invested, and the minutes, the time which takes us to implement the project and the ideas. Before presenting the task force Prio is going to assemble for the implementation of the project, I want to introduce you our team and the tasks of each team member. First of all, Francesca was responsible for the market researches, and she also, for example, created a survey. Ricarda was in charge for the overall strategy, making sure the project is going to be on time and going to be as expected. Gloria focused on the content creation, made creative suggestions, and focused to create the different approaches for our campaigns. Carl was focusing on the finance part, but he also made sure that we achieve our KPIs and make sure that we are also on time in each week. Myself, I was in charge for the digital part, making sure the social media approaches are going to be well, going to be useful, and I also made sure that the performance in the end was probably evaluated. All of us made sure to keep in touch with the KDM on a regular basis and talk to them and tell them what are our ideas and next steps. The manpower, which will be assembled by Prio, will contain 10 people. Out of this 10 people task force, there will be different roles which I am going to present to you right now. First of all, the project manager, which is in charge for the successful implementation and the management of the overall project. Second, the content marketeer is responsible for the generation of creative and different contents and also making sure that the content will be provided to all the other people in time. The digital creator is in charge for the social media management and making sure that all the digital campaigns will be done correctly and are going to be distributed on all platforms probably. The data analysts focus on gathering data, analyze the data, and manage the performance and the KPIs. The public relation manager will be in charge for the brand management, will be in charge of the relations with the public, handling the contacts with the different corporations, for example, Delta and the automotive company, and make sure the partnerships will be in future a good partnership. The designer are in charge of the creative part, making sure the campaigns are creative, are innovative, and also are appealing to the customer. Next, we're going to focus on the minutes. So the time which takes us and Prio to implement the campaigns and the ideas. As you know from the earlier presentation, there are four main parts of our campaigns and our ideas. First of all, the social media campaign, which will probably start in the next weeks, is there to make awareness of the product EcoDiesel B15 and will be carried out during the whole time. So this means until June, at least until June 24. The partnership with Delta is going to be starting in September this year. Until then, negotiations and the development of this campaign have to be made from now on. Next, the paid research and also social media campaigns, the advertising, will start probably by the end of the year, in November. Until then, a research and implementation plan has to be carried out. This whole campaign will also take place until the end of the overall project, so probably until June 24 or even longer. The other great campaign with a partner, the automotive one, will be taking place by next year in the middle of the year, probably June. Until then, it is of great importance to find a suitable partner which has the same core values as Prio until the end of the year, probably until November. So then negotiations can take place and the plan and the development of the campaign can be made. So the overall campaign can start by the mid of next year. Regarding the third M, which refers to the money, the budget, which will be provided for the overall campaigns, you can see here the distribution of it. Overall, there will be a budget of 1 million. For the first campaign, the social media presence, to raise awareness of the product and which the campaign will take place over the whole time, 75,000 euros will be provided. It's a rather small budget, but it is to raise awareness and to make sure that the product is well known within the society. The next campaign, the cooperation with Delta, is probably costs probably around 300,000 euros. The campaign is a shorter duration, but still needs a large budget to make sure that all requirements are met. The third, the paid search advertising, will get a budget around 125,000 euros. This campaign aims to drive sales, so the moderate budget should be allocated, because driving the sales is one of the main aspects of our KPIs. Last, the automotive partnership will get approximately half of our overall budget. This is because this is the largest and the most important partnership and campaign in the end, to make sure not only people, customer of Prio will know the product and will value the product, but also customers of the automotive partner. On this slide, the business model canvas gives a great overview about all the different steps of the project. First of all, in the top left corner, you see the key activities, which are building awareness about the product on social media, driving sales of the product with the help of social media as well, and building relationships with customers and also with partners. We identified the key resources, which are the 10 people task force of Prio, and you see here listed again the different people and roles which are included. The value proposition again focuses on the efficiency, sustainability, and affordability of the product EcoDiesel B15. The key partners were identified as Delta and the automotive company which will be found in the future. As costs, the 1 million budget is be allocated, and the money, of course, will be invested in the paid search advertising, but also in the co-partner marketing campaigns. And on the bottom, you see the scalability of solutions, which are again a timeline of our next campaigns. The awareness campaign in May 23, the partnership with Delta in September 23, the paid search advertising by the end of the year, and the automotive partnership by June 24. Next, the test and evaluation of our KPIs will be shown and presented. On this slide, the different KPIs separated for internal and external KPIs are shown again. And although we were able to achieve almost all of our internal KPIs, the evaluation of the external ones required more time during the implementation of our project and campaign. So you can see for the internal ones, we met our objectives mainly all the time. We developed an understanding of the framework. We had regular meetings within the group at least once a week, and by the way, every second week with a KDM. We helped each other to understand the project, the framework, and to get the background informations, and by this we supported our team spirit. It is still open if we will reach our goal of an 18 or above with our overall grade with the project. For the external KPIs, we could at least develop an effective and feasible campaign for Prio, but it's not sure if it's going to be a great impact. So this would be increased by 200% of the sales revenue, and increased by 20% of the association of Prio with the product EcoDiesel B15, and also the customer satisfaction, the increase of 70%. Oh no, not the increase, but the overall customer satisfaction of 70% will be shown in the future.
Now we are already at the last part of our presentation, which is the implementation and control part. What are the next steps for Prio now? First, Prio should reach out to Delta and inquire if they are interested in a campaign. In addition, Prio should start looking for a potential partner for their automotive campaign. Next, Prio should start creating content for both social media and the big campaign that is planned for the fall. We recommend starting with the promotion on social media as soon as possible to increase the awareness of EcoDiesel. It is also crucial for Prio to conduct another survey after some time to measure the effectiveness of the campaigns. This will allow them to make any necessary changes and adapt their promotion strategy accordingly. Finally, after finding a potential partner from the automotive industry, Prio should begin planning and developing the campaign. While we enjoyed working on this project very much, it wasn't always easy as we also faced some challenges along the way. The first major challenge was finding suitable time slots for all team members and KDMs to meet. To address this issue, we established weekly jury fixes for our meetings. Also, as this was our first time applying the value creation wheel method and we had limited knowledge of EcoDiesel, we faced some difficulties in applying this method. To overcome this challenge, we conducted in-depth research at the beginning and worked closely with the teachers and the KDMs. Measuring our ideas and filters with actual numbers proved to be challenging for us as well. We had to make assumptions and always discuss them with the team and the KDMs. And we also lastly faced some difficulty in avoiding biases towards certain ideas. To address this issue, we utilized the poker method to evaluate, refine, and rank our ideas. Now, to conclude everything, we would like to share our key learnings from applying the value creation wheel method. First, we discovered that conducting in-depth research at the beginning of the process is crucial to gaining a comprehensive understanding of the market and the product. We also learned that it's important to not dismiss ideas and that initially seem not suitable. By thinking not only outside the box, but with no box at all, we were able to generate some truly innovative and effective ideas for Prio. In addition, we realized the importance of maintaining a critical mindset. The value creation wheel is highly flexible and it's important to understand which frameworks add value to the project and adapt the framework to our specific needs. We also learned that co-working communication with the KDMs is essential for generating a good environment and creating a final product that satisfies everyone involved. And lastly, we also discovered a new creative method, which is brainwriting. I think in general, every one of us thought that the value creation wheel is a very nice method and we said that we want to use it again in our professional and also private lives. That was it. That was our presentation. We really much enjoyed working on this project and we really hope that you now liked our presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Com a Prio, os portugueses poupam diariamente ao abastecer combustíveis de qualidade a um preço mais baixo. Hoje somos a maior produtora de biocombustíveis em Portugal e a terceira maior a nível europeu. A nossa fábrica de biodiesel produz mais de 90 mil toneladas de biodiesel por ano através de óleos alimentares usados e outros resíduos. Lideramos a transição de uma economia fóssil para uma economia verde através da aposta nos combustíveis avançados EcoDiesel, Zero Diesel e EcoBunkers e na mobilidade elétrica. Continuamos a investir diariamente para ajudar esta geração a desenvolver indústrias mais verdes em direção a um futuro mais sustentável, com uma mobilidade descarbonizada e uma economia verdadeiramente circular. Prio. Energia para mudar.